Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be here with Austin Medlin from Close Sales. Austin, thanks so much for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure. Let's go back in time a little bit because you've had an interesting career path. How did you get started?
Yeah, I've kind of been an entrepreneur my entire life, to be honest. Both of my parents have been entrepreneurs for a long time. I think some people are born entrepreneurs. Some people are kind of created or they adapt over time. For me, since I could walk, I was trying to sell stuff out of the pantry, and I was the guy bringing candy to high school and trying to start businesses and different things. So kind of been an entrepreneur forever. I really just wanted freedom. I wanted to be able to go where I wanted, make the money I wanted, not have somebody tell me what to do when I could use the bathroom or take my future family on vacation. So entrepreneurship was really the only path that was going to yield those kind of results.
And I believe you shifted from running a landscape business to generating more in a week than you once made in 6 months. Tell me that story.
Yeah, look, I took over my dad's landscape company because I did network marketing in college, and that kind of rattled my brain a little bit. The way I would describe it is I became mentally unemployable. It was just going to be very, very difficult, no matter how much money was being offered, to go work for somebody else. I was finishing up college and I called my dad and I was like, hey, I need something to do. I need to make a little bit of money while I kind of figure out what things are going to look like going forward. And he's like, well, look, I have plenty of stuff you could do for me. So I started working remote on the landscape company, and I started seeing the same people every month writing a check for the same amount of money because we were doing the maintenance. And whether it was $100 or $500 or $2,000 a month, I saw the same people every month, and it kind of clicked in my brain. I was like, man, this makes a lot of sense, right? People hire you and nobody wants to shop for landscapers. So unless they move or they die and you do a good job, they'll never fire you. So I called him after doing that, kind of virtual, helping him out, odds and end things for 6 months. And I was like, hey, I could come in and do this full time. I can take over the company and scale it. Problem is, landscape doesn't have a lot of profit, right? I live in Florida. It's hot. It's really hard to get good talent. And so at the peak, I was making about $600 a week. And it's like, I have 32 employees. I'm running a 7-figure operation. We have 600 clients. There's just not that much profit where I could take more money from the business. And eventually just burnt out on that after doing it for a few years. And then when I got into the world of online high ticket coaching, our margins are exceptional. My company runs around 70% profit margins month over month over month. And so it's a lot easier to extract cash from the business when you have a high margin company, right? If you make $100,000 in a month, 70% margins, you're putting 70 grand in your pocket. It's pretty good. And so things have picked up. I think my best week in business was just maybe 101K, something like that in cash. So that'd be about 70,000 in profit in a week compared to making less than that in a year now at this point. So it's been good with transition.
That's obviously been a huge difference. You've clocked tens of thousands of hours mastering high ticket sales. What's the single most powerful lesson that others often overlook?
Care more about the prospect than you care about how the prospect views you. And what I mean by that, most people are too worried about what the prospect is going to think if they say a certain thing, if they hold them accountable, if they tell them the truth, if they're honest with them. They're more worried about the prospect's perception. I don't care about myself and the perception of me. I care about helping people. And the easiest way to help somebody is to tell them the truth. That truth doesn't always feel good. It's not always sexy and exciting, but you owe it to the prospect to tell them the truth. If they've been going down the wrong path for a really long time, and you have the program, product, or service or solution that can change the trajectory of their life, you owe it to that person to be honest with them, have the tough conversations, even if they might think you're salesy or mean or whatever. I don't care how they think about me. I just care more about serving them. So I'm willing to have the tough conversations, which inevitably gets them to buy. And when they buy, they come back in weeks, months, and they're like, dude, you changed my life. I couldn't be here without you. Thank you. Thank you. What's your address? I'll send you a Christmas card. So I know what's coming down the track. So I can put down in the moment feelings on the sales call, just be honest with people, tell them the truth, and help them make the decision that we both know they need to make.
Awesome. Who is an ideal client for you now?
Yeah, 99% of my clients are online coaches. So whether they're a fitness coach, health coach, marriage coach, parenting coach, they teach stocks, they teach real estate, and they're already taking calls, right? Maybe they have 10 calls a month. Some of them have 400 calls per month with a whole sales team. They have a $2,000 to $10,000 program, and I come in, look at their sales process, break it all down, and then rebuild it to be more effective. Because if I can double their close rate, they just double their whole business. If I could double their close rate and double their price at the same time, we just 4x their business. Didn't need more calls, didn't need to build more funnels, didn't need to invest a penny more into paid ads or marketing strategies. They just simply get more effective on the phones with the meetings that they're already taking.
That's awesome. You have emphasized that brevity equals closing more. What's the balance between keeping sales calls short, but ensuring that prospective clients feel like heard and valued and that you listened?
Yeah. Well, if you can ask an intelligent question, they will give you usually an intelligent answer back. Brevity really comes from like short, concise questions. And a lot of people come to me with the issue that their sales calls go really long. Like I was talking to a guy in my DMs this morning. He said his sales calls are 2 to 3 hours long. That's just not productive. Like that's way too long where we're just not moving the needle in a positive direction at that point. And so if you ask a short, concise, pointed question, it almost forces the prospect to give you back a short, concise, pointed answer. And if you just ask a bunch of those, it's going to be better than asking one very vague question and they kind of ramble into the ether and we're not gathering the information that we need. And that's in like discovery when I'm asking questions. At the same time, brevity works later on in the call. Like if somebody asked me, hey, I'm in this really weird niche and like my offer is a little bit different. Have you ever worked with somebody like me before? Well, if I just look at them and say, yeah, all the time, that's going to hold a lot more weight and it'd be a lot more believable than if I say, yeah, I worked with this other guy, Johnny, 6 months ago, and he was just like you. And I go on this 6-minute tangent about Johnny, who they don't know or care about, when they didn't ask me about Johnny. They said, do you work with people like me? Yes, all the time. The gravity of that answer being short and concise holds a lot more weight than some long-winded, tangented answer.
That makes a lot of sense. You talk about emotional steadiness. How do you define that, and what habits help you maintain that when prospects, push back?
Yeah. A lot of people crumble at the end of the call, right? They hear one objection or maybe some logistical thing that they have to solve, and you can visibly see their emotions just dropping. They visibly become upset. Maybe they lean back and they cross their arms, or they squint their eyes, or they're kind of frustrated and flustered. That's not going to help your prospect move through their emotion or move through their objection or logistic in a positive way and ultimately buy. I recognize that objections are just part of a sales conversation. I see objections as unanswered questions. I also see them as buying signals, because if they didn't want it, they would just hang up on me and say no. If they're giving me objections, to me, they really want it. There's just some unanswered questions that I have to help them move through before they pull out a credit card and buy it. So I'm expecting objections. I'm not manifesting them and wanting them, but if they come up, it's part of sales, right? And if you can't just be totally neutral throughout the entire call, especially in the objection handling, I mean, you're kind of in the wrong business, right? But the problem is sales is in every single industry on planet Earth. Even if you're not in sales, you're selling. You're selling yourself to a mortgage company, you're selling yourself to a life partner, like you're selling yourself all the time. So you better be good at sales. And if you know that it's part of the process when objections do come up, you're kind of just like, okay, this is a part of what I do. And then we're super neutral and we just handle it. And they feel that energy, right? If you get flustered, they feel that. And they're like, well, why is this guy so annoyed that I just like had this one logistical thing that I needed solved? Like, I don't really want to work with somebody like that. If you're neutral, it builds trust.
That makes a lot of sense. You've achieved so much success, not only in your own business, but more importantly for all of the clients who've gone through your process. What's your biggest challenge now?
More leads, finding more people who need what I do. It's kind of always been my challenge because I wouldn't consider myself a marketer. I'm really good at sales, automation, systems, leadership, hiring, firing, training, scale. But marketing has to come before all of that, because if you're good at sales with nobody to talk to, you're not making any money. So for me, it's always been marketing. So that's kind of the challenge that I'm solving today, and I think it'll always be a challenge, right? Every company needs more leads. The problem is a lot of companies get leads somehow, some way, funnels, referrals, whatever. But if they're not good at sales, they don't close those leads anyway. So it's exciting for me knowing that the second I have a lead on the calendar who is an ideal client, my close rate hovers around 91%. So there's a 91% chance that if an ideal client books on my calendar, I will close them. I also think that poses a challenge because people want to really feel ready before they book a call with me, because they know I'm going to sell them on something, but they'll thank me later for that anyway. So it's not really a problem. It's just in their brain. They're like, look, if I book in with this guy, I'm getting closed. So I really want to make sure that I'm ready to make this commitment. So I think that also creates a kind of a challenge in the back end, but there's nothing I can really do to solve that.
Understood. Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
Freedom. I have the freedom to travel the world and help people. And there's just nothing more exciting than me having the personal freedom to make my own schedule, work my own hours, do my own thing. It's kind of up to me. And then the more money I make is a direct reflection of helping the clients that I'm serving. I mean, I stopped counting when me and my clients crossed over $100 million in cash in just the coaching industry specifically in the last 6 years. It's like helping people make that amount of money, knowing that they're all in the coaching space, meaning that they are also helping people, whether it's save their marriage or with weight loss or whatever it may be. I now have this crazy, it's not even trackable at this point, like ripple effect on the world, where I've helped thousands of people lose weight. I've saved hundreds of marriages. I have a guy, Simon, that helps CEOs write books. So I've helped dozens of CEOs write books. I don't know anything about any of those things. I just help them get good enough at sales where they can close more clients into their programs, which then just positively ripple effects for generations to come in multiple different facets and industries. It's really exciting.
That is beautiful. What cause are you the most passionate about right now?
What cause am I the most passionate about? I think for me, my life has been hard. I think most people's lives have been hard. So if I had to sum it up, I would say practicing for me the law of increase, which is leaving everyone and everything better than I found it. I think there's a lot of negativity. I think there's a lot of hate, and I think there's a lot of mental health stuff going on in the world. And if I can just leave everyone 1% better than I found them, that means I'm leaving a positive impact on that single person, which then ripple effects to their family or friends or coworkers or whatever it may be. And then helping other people realize that their entire life, whatever they want, can be accomplished by shifting their mindset. And just a lot of people aren't raised to believe that. A lot of people have limiting beliefs that they've just been born and raised with since they were a little kid. And they look at people like you or people like me or just very successful people in life, and they think that we're like aliens, or it's like unattainable, or we're like some special species that was placed here on Earth. But really, we just have a more elevated mindset of belief in ourselves and going after our goals. So empowering these individuals, whether old or young or rich or poor, to unlock their mindset, that's the one key that can unlock whatever they want in life, whether it's freedom or wealth or a better family or relationships or whatever it may be. And seeing those mindset shifts is it's a lot more exciting than helping somebody make a couple dollars.
Totally understand. For our folks who are watching or listening and want to learn more about your process, where is the best place for us to send them?
Yeah, either Instagram or YouTube. Instagram is just at the Austin Medlin, and then YouTube is at Austin Medlin.
All right. This has been Seth Greene with Austin Medlin. Austin, thanks again for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.